Lately, I've been thinking about why we knit when life gets heavy. After my last video, so many of you shared such deeply personal stories about how knitting, craft, crochet had helped you through times of real challenge in your life, through grief, illness, loss, loneliness and change, and how picking up your needles really helped you hold everything together. It made me realise how much we need this space to be more than just yarn talk. So this video is a knitting update and a crochet update, and I've got lots and lots to share with you, but it's also that quiet space to talk about the things that really matter in our life as women, as older women, and as knitters and crafters. So before I dive into my knitting update, I just wanted to say a really heartfelt thank you for all the amazing comments, phone calls, emails, everything that people did to reach out to me and offer support and guidance, but also to share their very deeply personal stories, which really put, some of them were so sort of tragic or heartfelt or difficult to read, that I was privileged that you felt able to share them with me on my channel, and you trusted this as a space where that you could do that safely. But also it just put all of the things that I've been talking about in my life, the challenges I was facing, into perspective, because some of you have been through some incredibly difficult times. But I think one of the things that shone through as well was how knitting and your craft, or whatever it was, and how the community around it has really sort of supported you in so many different ways. You know, through the quiet, reflective time with your craft and that ability to be able to sit there and do something just for you, through to using it as a vehicle to be able to talk to other people as well, which is, you know, something that I'm really passionate about. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on in this video. I just put in a little excerpt. I also take you on a little trip to Treba Gardens, which is a beautiful National Trust garden, which is local to us, and we took some of the retreat ladies who came in May on that. It was a beautiful day, so I've just put a little video at the end there. But I've got lots of knitting and crochet to show you as well, to update you on, and just as I said, some reflections and thoughts about, you know, picking up from your comments and thoughts about why we turn to these crafts and why it can help us so much through the sort of times of life where things feel a bit hard and difficult to navigate. And, you know, isn't it wonderful that we've got something that really helps to soothe and calm our minds in the way that we do. So without further ado, let's get on to some knitting content. So what am I wearing? So this is a really old knit. I knitted this so many years ago. It is I had to write it down because it was so long ago. It's the Wisp Raglan by Tiff Nealon. It has some colour work on it, on the sleeves and on the bottom. So knock my tea over. So a little bit on the bottom too. It was a super simple knit, and I knitted it in Ciro from the Fibre Company, which is a cotton-based fibre with alpaca and other, I can't remember off the top of my head, the other fibres blown through it. It's probably my most reached for tee in my wardrobe, and as I said, I've had this for a number of years and it's worn beautifully well. I love the style of it, I love the shape of it. It's very slightly shaped, and although I've got no waist, say I haven't got any waist, I've probably got fat on my waist. It's sort of the shaping, because it sort of skims your body, it's quite a gives you quite a nice silhouette, and it's one of my favorites. So I thought I would show you what I'm wearing. I do like grey and pink together. I do think it's a nice calming colour, and yeah, I enjoy wearing it. So it was the first one that I grabbed today, because although it's not sunny here in Cornwall, it's the middle of June. It is quite mild and sort of warm, so it's an ideal day to wear something that's knitted but short sleeve too. So the other thing that I'm wearing is something that we've been working on with Nikki from Comfort Road Knits, who's a designer that we use a lot to help us with our patterns. And this is the Coral Cove shawl. It is a new pattern that we are just releasing, and it is a crochet pattern. The ethos in our business, in our shop, and with me really is we want to help and encourage and nurture more people in these amazing crafts that we all get to share and enjoy. As you know, I talk very frequently about all the added benefits that being able to knit and crochet have brought to me personally, but I know have brought to lots of others of you too, and certainly through those comments about how you'd used it as a sort of soothing pastime and therapy to help you through really difficult times. We know that it gives us so much more, and why wouldn't we want more people to be able to enjoy that? So whilst we've sort of been creating sort of some very basic knitting patterns so that it helps people who are fairly new to the craft to be able to get on and make something, we also wanted to do the same with crochet. And so Nikki designed this very simple shawl, which is a short shawl. And if you think about the phenomenal success of the Sophie scarf in the knitting world, we just thought it would be really good to sort of create something that you could do with crochet, which was similar, really short, easy to do, and something that people could make and it would look attractive at the same time. I keep fiddling with it because I probably haven't put it on very well. Styled it, as my sister would say. Not my forte. With crochet, I think, and I know I'm the same, you know, sometimes you think about crochet and you think about it's all about traditional granny squares and the sort of traditional things we think about with crochet. But so many people want to learn how to crochet, so we thought it would be really nice to make something that was simple to make and learn to do. And all this is, in English terms, is a half treble crochet, which I think is a double crochet in US terms, with in English double crochet edging, and again in the US a single crochet edging. We decided to do a little contrast on it, and because it's a shorter shawl, I mean, you can wear it. I'm going to hold up another colourway just that you can see. You can wear it sort of the opposite way, going that way around, so it's sort of like a little neckerchief around your neck, or if you want to, you can do a little toggle like we have here in the contrast yarn, so you can pop it around your neck and just wear it like that. So it took, when Nikki designed the pattern, this is her sample version, and then she's sort of given it to me to sort of look at and sort of test and then be ready for release. So I crocheted this in one afternoon. It was super quick to do. So it's a triangular shape, long triangle, it's in double knit, so it takes one ball of yarn. So we used Pure DK for the main body, and then in the contrast, we used Pudding by Mrs. Moon, which is a sport weight yarn, but it's a small 25 gram ball. So just that will make this a really sort of quick, cheap, you know, relatively cheap project to do, and to encourage people to take up crochet for the first time. But I have to say, as an experienced crocheter myself, it's same with knitting. It's really lovely to have a project that you can just take anywhere with you, chat to people, you know, don't have to worry about making mistakes because it's so simple to follow. So it's a great palette cleanser for anybody that just wants a quick, simple little thing to take with them in their bag when they're out and about and just wants to do some crochet because they don't like having still hands when they're out and about. So I've crocheted it in numerous colours just to try it out as a pattern, just to show what you can do. So that was one colourway. Another colourway I did was the green with the cream. Do love a green, which is Lily Pad and the Creme Caramel. And then, because I'm a blue girl at heart, I did a blue one. had to do a blue one. So the navy is Rockpool in double knit in pure, and then Bonbon in the Mrs. Moon. Again, the toggles are in the contrast colours. So yeah, so been experimenting really. I could have done it in multiple colours. Stopped at those 4, but I've really enjoyed making them, and I will be making more. But yeah, if you're interested in the pattern and you'd like to have just a simple little crochet pattern to do, really well written, do hop onto our website. It's called the Coral Cove Shawl, and I think it takes, from memory, 4.5mm hook to make. So super quick, super simple, but a great one to encourage new people who want to learn crochet how to make something. So those are the completed things. The other thing that I did complete is the other Flora scarf by Along Avec Anna in the sort of pearly grey. I did it, if you remember, I showed you last time in the pink, but I did like this grey. It's one ball of their 4-ply merino and one of their silk mohair held together. Lovely pattern, lace work, a little bit of concentration, but again, I really like this sort of size shawl, so not too much bulk around my neck. So I know I'm going to get lots of wear out of that. So those are 2 things that I've worked on and finished recently. I've been working on lots of other things too, so I'm going to share those with you. But before I go on to sort of what I've been working on, as I sort of said in the title of this video and at the beginning, I've just been reflecting on why we knit when sort of life hurts a little bit, and I just think that knitting or crafting offers us that rare moment in time when the demands on us means that we've got to keep going, we've got to keep smiling, we've got to be there for people, you know, we've got to always be there to support others. And particularly as we get older, we reach a time in our life when actually we just need that time for ourselves too. Life can feel chaotic, so knitting gives us that rhythm, that sort of ability to make time slow down and focus on something that helps to sort of take away those chaotic and sort of racing thoughts in our heads, and just be able to focus on the things that are in our hands and the things that we're creating. I also think it's just something that we can do in that midst of chaos and everything that's going on in our lives. You know, we can still create a stitch, one stitch at a time, and you know, it's something that we can have control of when everything else might be spiraling out of control. And it's that sort of focus and that mindfulness can really help us process difficult thoughts and difficult feelings and emotions. And even if it's just quiet time by ourselves, or whether we're using knitting to connect with others through a knitting group or whatever, I just think it helps us process those feelings and emotions and thoughts in a way that's soothing but also constructive at the same time. Over the last few videos, you know, I've been sharing sort of some of the things that I've been carrying too, some pretty sort of deep stuff, you know, the aging parents, the health scares, the feeling of time shifting and moving so fast and not being able to keep up, or of time running out too. And I wasn't sure how it'd land, but it's been extraordinary really how it's resonated with so many people, and you've responded with those stories, and they're really powerful and raw and really sort of show how women can share, through their shared love of knitting or crafting, can really support one another through times of stress and times of heartache and times of challenge. And not feel invisible or overwhelmed. I think, you know, just focusing on that one project, one stitch at a time, can really help us, as I said earlier, feel back in control. So I just think that as a community, it's really important to talk about these things and think about how that sort of process of knitting can really help us and connect us and calm us through quite turbulent times in our lives. And through the good times too. But I just wanted to sort of put a little insert in and share my thoughts. I went out onto the beach early this morning, woke early, you know, those chaotic thoughts were there. And just as I do a lot of mornings, just wanted some time for me to sit and reflect. Use my knitting as a sort of guide and a therapy, but also to just breathe in nature, listen to the sea, let it calm my mind a little bit and sort out my thoughts before the day got hectic. I just wanted to take a moment, as I said at the beginning of this video, when I started this channel, it was mainly to talk about knitting and how I was adapting patterns and things to suit my body shape. I didn't really imagine I'd be talking about any of the things that I've talked about recently, but I think it's really important that we do talk about just the ups and downs of life as we get older. And I know so many of you shared such moving comments last time and such personal stories about loss, grief, loneliness, illness, and how they'd affected you. And I must say that many of them really moved me to tears because they were so heartfelt and I could feel the pain that came through some of those comments. And I just wanted to thank you for sharing such personal things, and I'm honoured that you feel that the community I'm trying to create is one where you can trust me and each other to make those comments quite openly and be able to share them safe in the knowledge that you'll only get support and empathy and kindness from the people that you share them with. So thank you for doing that. When I'm feeling a bit low, I do like to come out to the beach and just sit and knit. And I know I'm really lucky to be able to do that and just be able to breathe in the lovely environment, listen to the sea, and I find it really soothes me. And the combination of that and my knitting together really does help to calm my mind. I like to come out here nice and early before everybody else is up and just listen to the rhythm of the sea while I connect with the rhythm of my stitches, really. And I don't take anything challenging or difficult to do. This is the time that I really sort of want to hold that space to just be able to reflect and enjoy my natural surroundings and be mindful, I suppose. What really struck me about your comments was how knitting and yarn had really held you together and helped see you through some really difficult times. And I'm finding that's the case with me. I'm really sort of using knitting as my therapy. And I know we talk about it a lot, but it has been a therapy for me in what has been a challenging few months and probably will be moving forward. But I wanted to go back to thank you again for really creating a community where we know that your stories matter, and I want to make sure that we feel that this channel is a space of real trust and real connections, because at some stage we will all experience the things that you've experienced, that I'm experiencing. And I think just, being able to talk about it openly, so many people have said this is the first time that they've been able to share some of their stories. So thank you for sharing them with me, and let's keep talking. Let's keep being open about what's affecting us and our lives and what we find helps, because I think if we can share those things openly, then it's a comfort to some other people that might be able to talk about them so freely. So thank you. So what have I been working on? So since the last video, I think I shared with you last time, I was just starting the threadline top, which is a simple summer tee done in basically it's a combination of knits and pearls. So just a micro stripe, bottom up short sleeve tee with a sort of inverted V that goes up through the centre. It's a really simple knit, and it's one of the things I have noticed is that I've either picked projects that are really simple for me to do, or I've picked some projects which are taking a bit more thought, and depending on what mood I'm in and whether I've got to sit in waiting rooms or sort of just spend some time doing some mindless knitting, or sort of not focusing on my knitting but being able to do something with my hands, depends on which project I work on. And this one has been great for sort of just sitting and mindless knitting, because it's round and round and round. Very simple, don't need to take the pattern with me. I'm just about to divide for the sleeves. It's knitted up in the Fiberco Meadow yarn, which is a heavy lace weight. It has got a little bit of linen in it, which is beautiful, makes it beautiful. It's sort of it's sort of a colour shifter slightly, so it's not a flat colour at all. This is Nightshade. It is sort of a dark navy charcoal almost, and this is Hyacinth, which is a bluey lilac-y colour, and I just love the two together, and I know I'm going to get a lot of wear out of this tee in the same way that I get a lot of wear out of this one. Hopefully I'll get to wear it this summer and get it finished, but yeah, I'm not putting any pressure on myself, because maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I'm sure I'm gonna get a bit done. I have put it to the side a little bit recently. I've been picking up other things, but I will get back and just carry on doing it. So as a contrast to that, and something that I wanted to sort of do, which is a little bit more complicated, not hugely so, but a little bit more thought to it. This is the Polar Sweater by Natasha Hornby. I think I'd got to about this stage when I showed you it last time. So it is I think we agreed on the comments, it's probably a funnel neck. So you fold over the top and it sits quite high. I don't know, I'm hoping that it sort of sits there on me and not right up here, because I might find that a bit restrictive. But it's super stretchy, so it's not going to be too tight. So you do German short rows at the back to create more space in the neck. And then you work on this cable stitch, which creates these diamonds. It's a raglan sleeve, which I do like a raglan shaping on me. It suits somebody with a fuller bust, I think, a lot better than certainly a circular yoke does, which is not great for somebody who's bigger busted, my opinion, really. But I've enjoyed the cables. So it's an alternating knit row with a cable row, and I've tended to do this pattern in the mornings when I'm sort of up early and I just need something to really focus my mind and just have some quiet time. And so I've been trying to do at least half a diamond, if not a full diamond, in the mornings. So it's grown, and I'm just about to do the rib bottom. It's about a 3.5 inch rib, so quite a deep rib, which I think will be a good length for me. So overall, probably from underneath the arms, it will be about 13.5 inches. Can't think what that is in centimetres, top of my head. And then I just pick up the sleeves and carry on with the sleeves. This contrast goes on the bottom of the ribbing. So you do sort of the same sort of contrast on the bottom of the ribbing, both on the sleeves and on the hem. In the pattern, it does give you an option to do little butterfly stitches over this, where the cables cross over in the contrasting colour. I think I'm going to finish it and block it completely, and then just try a few up here and see how I find that, because I'm not sure whether I want to do that or not, whether I prefer it in one colour with just the contrast on the ends or not. But I'm going to give it a go and see if I like it. I've got plenty of yarn, so it won't matter if I do want to do it. So this is done in Yarnadelic by John Arbon, and it's a sport weight pattern. Really nice pattern, really well written. This is Women in Blue, the colour. I can't remember what the darker blue is, but yeah, they've got a whole range of colours, and I've really enjoyed making that one. And I think by the time I record again, that I'll certainly be onto the least way onto the sleeves, if not sort of getting near completion. So I'll be able to show you that as I get to the end of it. So those are two things that I've been sort of working on. And then one of the other projects, which I mentioned earlier, that I like to crochet, and I can do most crochet stitches, but what I've not ever really done is followed a crochet pattern to make a garment, apart from sort of where you sew granny squares together, so no shaping or anything. So in the Cornish Knitters flock, there were a lot of people who sort of felt the same. They were competent crocheters but never attempted a pattern or followed a pattern. And so we decided to do a crochet along where we'd all do it together and support each other through the process. And a number of ladies have taken part, and we're sort of 2/3 of the way through, and we're beginning to get much more confident and sharing sort of tips and tricks. Linda, one of the ladies in the flock, she's a very competent crocheter, done lots of garments. She's been helping to guide and support us through this, as has the designer of the pattern we chose, which is Claudine from Iron Lamb, who's a Cornish designer and designed lots of crochet garment patterns, predominantly in granny stitch, which is an easy stitch to do. So I have been doing the low rider, which is the one that Linda sort of suggested that we look at for our first garment. It's a scoop neck. Obviously I've got to do the ribbing around the neck. You start with a foundation chain, which was new to me, but Claudine has done some excellent video support for her pattern, so it was really easy to follow along. It's a raglan sleeve, as you can see. I added a couple of rows because when I was doing it, I felt that the raglan was going to come a little bit short on me. So I've added another couple of rows so that I have enough space in the armhole and it wasn't feeling restricted in any way. The pattern itself has got quite balloon sleeves. I don't think I will do that. I think I will taper mine in the same way that I would do knitting. You join under the arms with that foundation row again, which again, Claudine has got a really good video for. And now I'm on the process of just going round and round and round with granny stitch and really enjoying it. I picked a bright colour because I wanted it to be summery. I will wear it probably over sort of just a plain t-shirt. And the yarn I picked is from King Cole, and it's a bamboo and cotton mix. I like it. It's quite heavy actually. The finished garment's going to be quite heavy. I do like it. I probably, if I do it again, some people have chosen to do the low rider cardigan in the group and have used wool to do it, and I do like the wool versions too, so I might be tempted to do that next, but using wool. But I'm really happy with how this is turning out. A few people have also sort of been thinking about whether they will knit the neckline and the rib and the cuffs rather than crochet them. I'm going to have a go at the crochet neckline and see how I like it, and then maybe decide on whether I knit or crochet the rib and the cuffs at the bottom after I've done that, before sort of making a firm decision on it. But yeah, I've really enjoyed doing that. You do it on a 4mm hook. It's working up pretty quickly, as crochet does. It is quicker, isn't it, than knitting? And the beauty of crochet is you've only ever got one stitch to worry about. So if you make a mistake, you don't have to worry about sort of picking up multiple stitches, particularly for a sweater. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that process. So last weekend I went to John Arbon, who are a yarn mill, fibre mill in Devon, in a neighbouring county to me. They had their open mill weekend, which they have every year. It's not a big yarn show, it's predominantly showcasing their yarns, and they do have a couple of other yarn vendors there with other sort of notions and support vendors for some other bits and pieces. And I've been most years. It's a lovely way for me to go and meet the team, because we do stock their yarn, see what colours they've been sort of developing, any new yarns in development, but also they have all their samples there, which are fabulous. You know, you can spend loads of time oohing and ahhing over all the samples, but it's a great way to see how the yarn knits up, and, you know, think about samples that I can make for the shop too, as well as for myself, of course. So I didn't leave there without making a purchase, because it'd be rude not to. But one of the patterns that I've had on my wish list for forever is the Artist Shawl by Natasha Hornby. I've got a bit of a curl crush, obviously, on Natasha Hornby patterns, because I've picked a lot of hers, but I do like her aesthetic. And yeah, her patterns always appeal to me. I think she designs beautiful patterns, and they're really sort of contemporary and interesting to do. So the Artist Shawl is a geometric, I think it's a mosaic pattern from memory. I've picked these colours to do it in. This is my base colour, the blue, and then the other four are the contrast colours. I'm really looking forward to making that. I know, having tried on the sample, I will wear it an awful lot. I've always liked it. Every time I've seen somebody else knit it, I've always sort of thought, I would love to knit that. It looks amazing knitted up. I know with mosaic knitting and slip stitch, it's not going to be too complicated to do, and it will be one that I'll keep me interested and I'll really enjoy making. So I was delighted with that purchase, and it was just lovely to see all the colours together and be able to put them together and use the sample as a guide as well. And then I was just heading out, and in the way that, you know, you sort of see from the old sort of adverts where people walk by a waft of smell of food and stop in their tracks. I think it was the Bisto twins when I was younger. I was definitely on my way out, heading out, said all my goodbyes to people, and a sample caught my eye which stopped me in my tracks, because it was stunning, and I was like, wow, I hadn't seen that one. What is that? And it was a blanket, and I looked at it and I thought, is it woven, is it knitted? But it turns out it was crocheted, and it was the most amazing, beautiful blue blanket with some embroidery on it, and then they had a wrap version too. So I was like, I really would love to make that. It was so stunning. And when I asked the people at John Arbon where it originated from, it's in their annual number 4. Do get their annuals, they're brilliant. They've got lots of information in, they've got lots of entertaining articles to read, and they've got a great pattern selection too. But this is the pattern that stopped me in my tracks, this one here. So that's the blanket and that's the wrap, and it's called the Rambling Rose Wrap and Blanket, and it's by the designer Faye Dashper Hughes, who designs most of John Arbon's crochet patterns. An amazing designer based up in Cheshire, but she works very closely with John Arbon. And I just had to buy it. I had to buy the yarn to make that blanket. So it comes in 3 sizes. I picked the medium size. And I loved the sample so much, I chose the same colours as the sample. And it's the same colour, ironically, as my polar sweater. So it's in Yarnadelic. It is the worsted weight version of the same yarn, so Woman in Blue, with the embroidery done in Harvest Hues in those 3 colours. So you can see how they will look together. The pattern uses a herringbone half treble stitch, or is it herringbone treble stitch? UK terms. I'm not sure what the US terms are, but it looked beautiful. It looked like it was a woven blanket, and I'm really excited about working on that, which will be an autumn project that I'll do. As I went to pay for it, the lady that served me was actually Faye. It was the designer, and she'd come down to help John Arbon out for the event and talk about her patterns and do a presentation. And so we got chatting, and she showed me some of the samples that she's working on, and her ethos is to make crochet not always look like crochet, you know, so it's not always the typical crochet you'd seen, but actually to make you stop and think, is that knitted or is that crocheted? And she's got some amazing designs in the making too. So do go and check her out on Ravelry or on her own website. And yeah, we got to talking, and we will follow up on our conversation. She was lovely, and she's got some really exciting ideas. So as you can see, I sort of like to swap between crochet and knitting. And last night on the flock, we had a physio who was talking about, you know, how do you prevent sort of your hands and arms and neck getting tired when you're knitting and crocheting, particularly as we get older. And we were talking about the benefits of being able to swap between crafts, because some of it's caused by repetitive sort of strain injury. We're doing the same action over and over again. And it was just, it just reminded me why I do like to swap between the two crafts. But, you know, we talked about the importance of posture as well, because I think many of us probably will sit and work at our knitting or crochet for hours on end without getting up and moving. And, you know, it was just a useful reminder that it's really important to think about, are we sitting in a good chair? Are we supporting our back? Have we got good lighting so that we're not sort of straining to see what we're working on? Do we get up and move every 30 to 40 minutes to make sure that we can ease ourselves off? Are we stretching those hands and those limbs that we're using constantly? So it's just a good reminder that actually we do need to do this, because we don't want anything to prevent us doing what we love and enjoy, do we? So it was a great session, really, to think about that. So that's why I like to do crochet and knitting, but I also like to do embroidery as well. And I've been watching a couple of floss tubers, and I've seen this designer called Stacey Nash Designs come up a few times and really loved them. And I purchased that little chart there to make this pattern, the little badger. I've already got linen and I've got loads of floss tubes, so I'm fine with all of that. But I just fell in love with that, and I thought that would be a great alternative, and I'd really enjoy making it. And I couldn't resist picking that one up too at the same time. This wasn't from John Alban, I bought this off of a website. Yes, so I'm really looking forward to having a go at those. Need good light, I think, for those, because it's quite a fine linen that you work on, so your cross stitch count is quite tiny. So I'll probably need to do that in good bright daylight. But so that's everything that I've been working on, and I'm just conscious as well, as I've been going through these projects, that I've got quite a blue theme going on. And I think it's because blue and sometimes green or tealy blues are the colours that sort of I find soothing and comforting. Probably my link to the sea as well, and how it sort of evokes thoughts about the water and the sea. But I just find working with the hue of blue, bluey green is just really comforting to me. And I was just looking through my projects, apart from the lowrider jumper, I think everything's sort of got a blue theme to it, and it's probably, it sort of denotes what sort of my state of mind is and my mood is at the moment. So it's probably me reaching for things that I know are going to be sort of there to soothe me. And if you've got a colour or you know, something like that soothes you, just do let me know, because I'm interested to know, is blue the colour that helps bring calm to your knitting and sort of help sort of shut off some of those chaotic thoughts? So is that the colour that you would reach for when you want something that feels comforting and comfortable, and that's not gonna interrupt your sort of daily thoughts too much, if you can get what I mean. So I'm going to leave it there for today. I just wanted to say, so if you've picked up your needles or your hook in difficult times, just know that you're not alone. This community is full of women who have felt the same way. I think you can see that from the comments that we get. And I just wanted to reiterate that it's really important that we share these stories. And I hope that the yarn has given you some healing and rhythm to help you navigate your way through the difficult times too. If you feel that this sort of would resonate with a friend or something, please feel free to share this video content. Do like and subscribe, do comment, because it's really important that we get to talk about these things, and I really value your comments, and I do try and get back to every single one of you. So whatever you're doing, I hope you have plenty of time to just sit and enjoy the space and calm that being creative brings you. I'll be back with some more knitting and maybe some more of this next time. See you soon. Bye.
But in Hampshire, I didn't have any last weekend.
Yeah, kids don't always appreciate it.
Each other. Let's be stick one outside M&S. Stick one outside M&S. It's alright.